Rick Ross flew commercial this week.
Oh, poor guy.
We ain't hiring like Rick Ross in the airport neither. It's all good. Heading back to New York. Let's go next.
It didn't seem to me like he was hiding because he was taking that commercial flight. Rick Ross looked so depressed to be flying with y'all junkies.
Uncle Murda, you ain't never killed nothing. But what I want to do is give you and all your kids a free cleaning. Free cleaning. I know what 50 going through right now. He may not be in the mood for this. You know, Dad, enjoy.
Put a wet towel over his head.
For the ones want to know where my jet at, I obviously didn't get the memo. It's being updated with Starlink. And I chose to fly commercial to Colombia to go party with Trick Daddy. When Ricky Rose take flights to 6 digits. I'm going to get some money on.
Rick Ross is clapping back at 50 Cent Uncle Murda, and he did not hold back. Fans are speculating this whole thing started after Uncle Murda posted an Instagram story featuring a viral post from X that showed what appeared to be Rick Ross waiting on a commercial flight at the airport. But it looks like Rick Ross wasn't too happy about this.
Just imagine if I had the chance to slap 50 Cent at this shit right here. Come get it, 50. I'm gonna let you know, 50, take it like a player. You had a child from a sex worker. I mean, she a sex worker. Curtis. So infatuated with my lifestyle. It's so entertaining when you got your bad skin like Uncle Murda and who happy to be making cheeseburgers on the road, and then you got another going through trauma like 50, standing far back getting head from you and on them for 10 bands a month. Going through trauma.
Thing about Ross and his career that you have any respect for?
Oh, no, there's nothing there. I never wanted to work.
Years ago, entertainers and rappers were often seen as larger-than-life stars. Fans watched the flashy lifestyle they showed often dreamed of, reaching that same level one day. Luxury cars, private jets, designer clothes, expensive vacations, and non-stop success became a huge part of the image they built. But times have changed. In today's internet world, people don't just admire the highlights anymore. They pay close attention to every little detail. That's exactly why Rick Ross recently became a major topic of across social media after clips reportedly showed him flying on a commercial airline.
Jay, the history with you and 50, is it better now? You guys now friends, like you guys talk now, or is it still no relationship?
Nah, homie Wash, we've never been cool.
From day one?
No.
This is a big business you guys are a part of. You guys are two of the heavyweights in the business.
I mean, what is there to talk about?
A lot of things to talk about. History, the beef.
What kind of history? That he couldn't dress? That's all I used to tell him. Yo, you can't dress. You're not really getting no money. You don't own your masters. Eminem saved you. Dr. Dre saved you. All the big names. Rose did it himself. Came in through slip and slide. I had to build this myself. And I'm not speaking down on him because he live in a 2-bedroom apartment, but
he lives in a 2-bedroom apartment.
2-bedroom. Catch the alley hoop now. Got him one by out for this bitch.
Bedroom apartment.
Yes, he does. And if he does, what does that say about him? Come on now. Just the alley hoop. Come on now. What does it say about him?
You're saying 50 lives in a 2. He just did a big documentary on Diddy that blew up. It was a #1 documentary for like weeks.
They just use him. They'll put his name on there, give him 10K, and that's it. He don't own any of that.
Normally, that wouldn't be a big deal because millions of people fly commercial every single day. The real reason the video spread so fast, according to many online commenters, was a gap between what people expected and what they thought they were seeing. For years, Rick Ross has built a public brand around luxury living, private jets, and over-the-top success. So, some viewers were surprised when the footage appeared online.
So there's going to be some diss tracks at some people in the album that's coming out. Some names will be called out in the album that's coming out.
It's a good chance.
It's a good chance.
Yeah, it's a good chance.
Is there going to be like a Leroy in there, Bruce Leroy type of thing, or no?
Oh, that was a nice alley-hoop right there. 50 Cent, you saw he threw me the alley-hoop about your son. Yeah.
That's a nickname.
Bruce Leroy.
Yeah.
That should be a song title.
Could it be?
Might not be too late. It might not be too late. It might not, man.
Ross take a shot at you a couple weeks ago about a girl that you're not even with no more.
We wearing Travis Scott's all week. Yeah.
What is it with you and Ross that's just been going on for so long?
Nothing else works for him outside of mentioning me. When things get bad, he mentions me. It gets covered further. I get covered across the board. They get covered on the hip hop album. It is what it is. And you watch because I have nothing else to say. You just see it happen periodically as it goes. You know, you see that big white elephant, that property he lives at? It costs more than the nightclubs. He's in the nightclubs. What kind of rich cut his own grass? Why you out there cutting your own grass? You're trying to save money, Nick? You don't want to pay for the lawn to get cut, huh?
Ain't nothing wrong with cutting your grass.
Many also noticed he seemed heavily bundled up, even though the weather looked warm, which sparked even more questions and online reactions. Before long, social media was packed with theories, jokes, and non-stop opinions as people tried to explain what they had seen. No one knows the exact reason behind his clothing or travel plans, but that didn't stop the internet from creating its own stories. For many commenters, the bigger conversation wasn't really about the flight at all. It was about public image versus reality.
Make sure y'all stream that new T.I., man, that new T.I. shit. Right One, that shit on fire. Tip, we want to see them old schools at the car show. ATL, let Tip know after y'all stream that nigga new shit, that shit hot. Fuck with that. You heard me?
Damn, T.I. Damn, Tip. Send you to your mother like your father do. 50 Cent mom, died in a fire. He talking about how T.I. is linked up with God, and you, assuming 50 Cent, is running with demons, so the devil must be your father, send you to the... Damn.
For Rick Ross, there's certain artists that it would say things about 50 Cent and that would generate their energy.
50 Cent had some huge records when he had the biggest producers and artists around him putting them together. That's why right now he can't make nothing.
Their whole career has been based on it. So it's not a surprise that they try to do that to continue the relevance. I'm looking going, good luck, because you're trying to sell a CD at the present moment, and I'm not trying to sell music.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with enjoying success or sharing the rewards of hard work. But today's audiences also value authenticity. As one online commentator put it, there's a difference between motivating people and making a lifestyle seem bigger than it really is. If someone owns a private jet but chooses a commercial flight because of scheduling, maintenance, or simple convenience, most people would likely understand that. Can I call it the promised land? It's the promised land. 300 acres, 60,000 square feet. It's bigger than the projects. It's bigger than the projects. It's enormous. And a couple of football fields. It's a town. It's a town. Yeah, I'm just thinking about it. I'm sorry. It's a hood analogy, but that's how I'm thinking about it. It's beyond motivating. It's beyond motivating. Oh, man. Can we make some noise for that? Critics argue the real issue only starts when the image being promoted appears very different from everyday reality. That's when online users begin asking questions, comparing old claims, and turning an ordinary moment into a trending discussion. And if there's one thing social media is known for, it's spotting what many people believe are contradictions and keeping that conversation alive. 50 Cent. Let these people know you really admire me. You love my style, the way I dress, the money I get. And let them know that if you really could, you would put all this to the side to do business with me and work with me. It's the truth. I know it is that I'm deciding to get life up. Look, well, I'ma get life up. The question people keep asking is pretty simple. Are some celebrities really living the lifestyle they promote, or are they selling a bigger version of reality? That's exactly why moments like this explode across social media so fast. The second a public figure is seen doing something that doesn't match the image they've spent years creating, the internet jumps into action. Suddenly, everyone starts examining every detail, comparing old posts, old interviews, and public appearances while singing, trying to figure out what's real and what's just part of the brand. Think that it's an opportunity to create energy or like excitement for the actual release of a record. And I understand that it may be more attention than you used to get, but it'll be the kind of attention that when it goes away, you go away. The company, the system might actually feel like it's a good idea for the moment until they realize that I won't stop. There's nobody in control of me. I'm deciding to your life up. Bro, I'm a your life up for fun. This is not new. I do this all the time. Rick Ross isn't the first celebrity to face this kind of attention either. Many fans still remember when Bow Wow went through a similar wave of online criticism years ago after people questioned whether the luxury lifestyle shown online truly matched what was happening behind the scenes. To his credit, Bow Wow later addressed the situation publicly and admitted he had been caught in an uncomfortable moment. Eventually, the internet moved on, but the lesson stayed the same. Image can attract attention, but it also brings heavy scrutiny. That's why so many artists, influencers, athletes, and other public figures feel pressure to keep up a certain image, especially after their brand reaches another level. The bigger the name becomes, the harder it can be to break away from what fans expect to see. Many online commentators believe that's one of the main reasons the recent conversation involving Rick Ross gained so much momentum. For them, it wasn't just about taking a commercial flight. It was about whether the moment matched the luxury image people have connected with him for years. The discussion also grew because Rick Ross has spent years exchanging competitive comments with major names like 50 Cent and Drake, which naturally leads fans to compare lifestyles, success, and public appearances that is no longer valuable in the music arena. Yeah, maybe before I would wake up in the morning and on them and say something just to turn up the little vibe. You know, I'ma post some new shoes I got later. Let me call him the monkey he is, you know, and that's what it was. You know, I'm a real dude. 50 Cent had some huge records when he had the biggest producers and artists around him putting them together. That's why right now he can't make nothing. A lot of people be saying 50 Cent is a bully. But listen, hear me out. So, Rick Ross went on the podcast. He was on the podcast, Joe and Jada. Now, during this podcast, Fat Joe got to talking about, but Fat Joe ended up saying like a lot of these older rappers. That's washed up and ain't got no motion. Rick Ross bust out and say, yeah, like 50 Cent, and I guess Rick Ross had on this long ring on his finger, and I guess it's supposed to be worth $1 million. Now, he in the podcast, but Fat Joe tell him like, nah, that ain't who I'm talking about. We ain't about to do that. You already know Jada Kiss. He over there just laughing. Then, next thing you know, Rick Ross like, yeah, I could just take this, can you imagine me smacking him with $1 million ring? And then, Fat Joe tell him again, bro, you doing too much. You reaching. That's not what I'm talking about. You creating some that's not hey. That's not. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about 50 Cent. Next thing you know, he get to saying, what's the black with the two-tone and forehead a different color? Talking about Uncle Murda. But then, when 50 Cent reply, you're going to say 50 Cent bullying. You'll drop a comment. Let me know what you're thinking if you're seeing. That's where another interesting comparison comes in. Many observers say 50 Cent has often presented himself as someone who's careful with money, rather than someone who spends without thinking. Over the years, he's even joked publicly about luxury purchases he felt weren't worth the price. And fans still bring up those moments whenever conversations about celebrity lifestyle start trending. Again, hey, Curtis Jackson, you more than welcome to bring that Versace Lamborghini to the car show and your little homies. I know them with them Uncle Murda. Yeah, I know you got a Toyota Tundra. I know it. I can see it in your face. Many fans say that kind of attitude connects music and singing with people because it feels more real and easy to relate to. While 50 Cent has never hid his success, he's also talked openly about being smart with his money instead of spending just to impress others. Because of that, some people believe situations involving him often receive a different reaction than similar stories involving other celebrities. At the same time, social media never misses a chance to joke about old rivalries and long-running industry relationships. Some online commentators have even joked that certain longtime associates don't always seem to enjoy the same luxury lifestyle as the superstar they're reconnected to. Whether those jokes are fair is up for debate, but they spread fast, rack up millions of views, and keep fans arguing in the comments. That's how the internet works. One small moment can quickly turn into a much bigger conversation than anyone expected. Beyond the jokes and celebrity drama, many people think there's a much bigger issue behind all of this. As everyday expenses continue to rise, more people are looking at luxury culture with a more skeptical view than they did years ago. Groceries cost more, travel costs more, and monthly bills keep climbing. So, audiences seem less interested in flashy displays of wealth and more interested in seeing what's actually real. Some commentators argue that too many people feel pressure to maintain an expensive image, whether that's showing off luxury purchases, renting high-end experiences, or trying to present a lifestyle that's difficult to sustain. Many believe that's where the real lesson begins. There's nothing wrong with celebrating success or enjoying the rewards of hard work, but problems can appear when public image seems very different from what people believe is happening in real life. Most people aren't criticizing someone for flying commercial, making practical financial choices, or taking a regular trip. What grabs attention is when the story being presented seems to match the moment people think they are watching. That's why these discussions spread so quickly across social media. Years ago, endless displays of luxury, private jets, giant homes, expensive cars, and flashy jewelry were enough to impress almost everyone. Today, many viewers react differently, with some saying, "Okay, we get it already." Because of that shift, many observers believe authenticity is becoming far more valuable than simply showing off wealth. Take Rick Ross as an example. Very few people question whether he's successful. Over the years, he's built a powerful brand centered around luxury living, showing off massive properties, an impressive collection of cars, and a lifestyle that many people could only imagine. But interestingly, some of the moments fans appreciated the most had nothing to do with expensive purchases. People still mention the times when Ross showed a more down-to-earth side, whether he was taking care of parts of his property himself or sharing pieces of his everyday routine. Those moments stood out because they felt genuine. It wasn't about proving how much money he had. It was about letting people see a different side of his life. That's why many online commentators believe the recent travel discussion spread so quickly. For them, the conversation wasn't really about flying on a commercial airline. Most people don't care how someone gets from one place to another. The attention came from viewers who felt the moment didn't match the luxury image they had associated with him for years. Once social media spots something people see as inconsistent, the memes, reactions, and debates take off almost instantly. But this discussion also reflects a much bigger shift happening across the entertainment industry. For years, artists weren't just admired for their music. They became symbols of success, ambition, and personal growth. Fans followed the journey from difficult beginnings to major achievements, and that story inspired millions. Many observers say that part of hip-hop often deserves more attention because so many performers have expanded far beyond music by building businesses, growing their brands, and creating new opportunities at the same time. Maintaining a celebrity image has become more challenging than ever. Industry insiders frequently point out that record labels don't invest in artists the same way they once did. Album campaigns have changed. Promotional budgets are often smaller, and many artists now handle much more of the work themselves in many cases, musicians are paying for large parts of their own projects, and fans have started noticing those changes. One of the biggest developments people continue discussing is the growing use of artificial intelligence in music promotion, showing just how quickly the industry is evolving. What used to require a huge production teams and expensive budgets can now be created much faster with the help of AI and for a fraction of the cost. From promotional visuals to creative video concepts, artificial intelligence is becoming a major part of the music business. Even artists with decades of success are adjusting to these changes because the industry keeps moving at a rapid pace. That's one reason many commentators believe audiences value transparency now more than ever. Fans understand that business has changed, markets shift, and entertainment evolves over time. What many people don't respond well to is feeling like the image being promoted doesn't fully line up with reality. Around the same time, another conversation involving Rick Ross started making rounds online after reports claimed he and T.I. released a diss track aimed at 50 Cent. Anytime 50 Cent's name enters the discussion, people immediately pay attention because his history of high-profile rivalries has made him one of the most talked-about figures in hip-hop. Still, Despite the early buzz, several observers felt the record didn't create the kind of major wave that many expected. Compared to some of the biggest rap feud from previous years, the online reaction appeared much more measured. That doesn't mean listeners thought the song was bad. In fact, many commentators described it as a solid track with good production and strong performances. The bigger question was whether it had enough impact to completely shift the conversation or pressure 50 Cent into responding. Many fans felt there was a clear difference between making a good song and creating a moment that dominates headlines. In today's fast-moving music world, grabbing attention is difficult, but keeping everyone's attention is even harder. When people discussed whether 50 Cent should reply, many online opinions sounded surprisingly similar. The general view wasn't that the diss track failed. It was that it came across more like a strong album cut than a release that demanded an immediate response from one of hip-hop's most experienced competitors. At the same time, reports suggested Rick Ross and T.I. weren't treating the song like just another track buried on a project. According to those reports, a music video was already being prepared. Promotional content was rolling out across social media, and the overall strategy appeared focused on keeping the record in the spotlight. That's where many fans became even more interested. Listeners quickly pointed out that T.I.'s verse seemed filled with indirect references that many interpreted as aimed at 50 Cent, while Rick Ross reportedly took a much more direct approach by mentioning 50 by name and including several pointed remarks that immediately sparked debate online. Whether those lyrics are enough to reshape the current rap conversation remains a matter of opinion, but they've certainly given fans plenty to discuss. One thing many listeners seem to agree on is that the production was strong. Even people who weren't completely sold on the overall record still gave credit to the beat. The instrumental had plenty of energy and sounded like the kind of production you'd expect from a major release. Some commentators even argued that the beat ended up getting more praise than the lyrical exchanges themselves, and that's where the conversation becomes much more interesting. Years ago, simply mentioning a rival artist by name on a track was almost guaranteed to dominate headlines. Fans would break down every lyric, music blogs would analyze every line, and social media would spend days, sometimes weeks, debating who came out on top. Today, many observers believe that formula doesn't have the same effect. They've seen so many rap rivalries over the years that it now takes something far more unexpected to truly grab everyone's attention. Just putting a famous name into a song isn't enough to create the same level of excitement it once did. That's why many commentators have started asking whether diss tracks still have the power to create the massive impact they once did. In the past, controversy often led directly to more streams, bigger sales, interviews, and non-stop online discussion. But today's entertainment world moves incredibly fast with news stories appearing almost every hour, making it much harder for any single moment to stay in the spotlight. Some fans even argue that audiences are becoming more interested in authenticity and topics that reflect everyday life than endless celebrity rivalries. Rising living costs, financial pressure, and everyday responsibilities are realities that many people are dealing with. So, some listeners connect more with music that speaks to those experiences instead of focusing only on luxury and status. According to several observers, that could be one reason why certain records don't build long-term momentum. If fans don't feel a personal connection to the message, they may be less likely to keep coming back to the song. At the same time, conversations like this almost always lead back to 50 Cent. Over the years, many artists have released tracks aimed at him. Some generated headlines, while others created short bursts of attention before fading away. But when fans try to name recent diss records that truly changed the conversation or left a lasting impact, many struggle to point out clear examples, which says a lot about how much the rap landscape has changed. That's not necessarily a criticism of the artists involved. It may simply show how much the music industry has changed over the years. As many observers have pointed out, we're no longer in a time when every rap rivalry dominates headlines for months. Fans consume music and content very differently now. Trends move faster, social media shifts from one topic to the next in a matter of hours, and attention spans are much shorter. Because of that, It's becoming harder for any diss track to grow into the kind of cultural event people remember for years. The discussion also sparked debates about lyricism. Very few people question T.I.'s ability as a rapper because his catalog and long career have earned him respect throughout hip-hop. At the same time, some commentators believe there's a difference between being a talented artist and being known specifically for battle-style punchlines and competitive bars. As one observer explained, every rapper has different strengths. Some stand out through storytelling, others through charisma and delivery, while some build their reputation around sharp lyrics and lyrical competition. That's one reason comparisons to artists like Jadakiss continue to appear whenever battle rap is discussed. Many fans believe that battle-focused lyricism has its own standards and expectations. As for Rick Ross, several of his lines quickly became popular topics across social media. Reactions were mixed, with some listeners saying the bars were entertaining and matched the energy of the record, while others felt they weren't enough to create the kind of unforgettable moment that shifts the entire conversation. In the end, whether this track leaves a lasting mark is something only time will answer, but it's already sparked plenty of debate among hip-hop fans. What do you think? Did Rick Ross and T.I. deliver a strong diss track, or did it fall short of expectations? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with other hip-hop fans so you don't miss the next big story.